how far does $50,000 go in Lagos? Like,
Because you're gonna be popping bottles.
hey, hey, what up, fam? My name is Sar Levy, host of Africans in Tech. This is Africans in Tech again, where we're bridging gaps and shaping futures in tech. My name is Sar Levy, and we got a special guest today on our episode, Mr. Moses Jacob. I met Moses on Instagram. I think I pinged you after I saw like an Africans in Tech tag, and you were one of like the many. I reached out, and Moses was like, "Yeah, man, I'll be willing to do the pod." We talked. Was it like a week, maybe 2 weeks ago?
I
And
think 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay. And then
Yeah.
he decided to come on the show, man. So thank you, bro, for being here. As usual, what we usually just ask people to do is just introduce themselves. Nothing really technical. Just tell us who you are, where you're from. Just give us a little background on yourself, man, and we'll go from there,
All
bro.
right. All right. It's great to be here. Like we said earlier, my name is Moses Jacob. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. Um, yeah, I'm in tech. I'm a product designer. Um, newly married, and yeah, that's it about me. So yeah, that's it.
Cool, cool. So when did you get married, bro?
It's a year.
Okay,
It's a year already. June. Yeah,
okay.
it was
You gotta
nearly.
remember those dates, man.
It's gonna come in handy and all of that. So I'm trying to
Yeah,
trying to stay in tune.
got you. Cool, cool, man. Well, congrats, bro. Yeah, that's
Thanks.
a major accomplishment, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're based in Nigeria and Lagos, right?
Yeah, Lagos,
Cool,
Lagos.
cool. How long you been there?
All my life, 29 years now.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
Born and bred up here in Lagos, the happening city in Nigeria. You know what's up? we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
man.
every time. But I'm originally from Delta State.
Okay,
Uh, but my parents like based in Lagos, so born and bred up here and all of that. So yeah,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay. Siblings?
Yeah, I'm actually the last born of four kids.
Okay,
Yeah, so family of six, two sisters, one brother. I'm the
okay,
last.
okay. So you get the special treatment, man.
Well, from time to time, but as a grown man now, I'm just doing my thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it, man. That's dope. All right, so let's get into it, man. In terms of tech, like, what do you do, and I guess how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, so I'm a product designer, like I said earlier. I've been in the game for 5 plus years since like 2019. That's when I was introduced to it. So at the peak of COVID, that's when it like hit, and I started like learning and all of that. So basically, that was it. So it started like 2019 as a product designer. I got to learn everything about design. But before then, I had a little bit of knowledge of graphic design.
Okay.
So actually, it's a funny story because it was actually my wife that introduced me to to it. You understand? Because
Mm,
brother was also learning on its own. Like he was learning just online system and all of that. No classes, nothing, just free courses online.
gotcha.
And she told me, and she was like, "You have this passion for tech. You should just pursue it." Because then I was doing something else. So I was like, I was into the trade markets basically. So
Okay, okay.
I was like, okay. At first, I didn't want to work for nobody because I wanted to just
Yeah,
own my thing.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was
No,
the
I get
funny
it.
thing. So she told me, go into it. She was pushing me. And I was actually reluctant at first, but
Okay,
as time was going on and all of that, she was even the one that gave me a system to use, a laptop, because I was so
nice.
reluctant. Like, you understand? Then I had to fix the laptop. So I just went online and I spoke to a friend. He was like, "You can't really put me through it, but you can just show me some things to do."
Yep.
Then I was like, "I bet." But I also did like some personal learning. I went on YouTube because YouTube is like the best resource you can have
Yep.
because there's so many free things on there, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
So I learned to like get accustomed to what product design is because it's actually divided into two parts. There's the UI and there's the UX,
Yep.
the user interface and the user experience. So I had to like know what part is my strength and what part is my weakness. The UI is like it has to do with the buttons, the color, and all of that. Why the UX is like the research, the user journey. It's like the behind the scenes of what we see. You
Yep.
understand? So I was like, okay, okay. But one thing I noticed is like in Nigeria, yeah, you don't get to work in the field of like you being the UI designer or the UX. It's like the two together. You
Okay.
understand? Yeah,
Okay.
because like when I had to go online, like search for even jobs in the US and in the UK and all of that, you get
Yeah.
to see it's kind of divided because you see like they're opening positions for like user experience
Hmm.
designers and
Yep.
UI. So I'm always wondering like why is it different? Then I got to realize oh it's just where I am at the moment. It's more about product designers one for us to do it here. So that's just it for me.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Before I get into like, I have a bunch of questions about that piece. Is your wife in tech as well?
Yeah, she's actually transitioning to be a product manager.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what was she doing before? Because you said she got you into it pretty much.
Yeah, so she wasn't in tech. Then where she just finished at NYSC. It's something like it's a youth service program after you're done with your BSc in Nigeria. She
Gotcha.
understands. So that was what she was doing at that point. Then she was like, okay, you have to do this if we're gonna get serious. Like there were so many ultimatums like for me to do. So yeah, I just gotta do it. I just gotta do it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So you got into it, and I guess you're kind of navigating your way, like in the process of like watching YouTube videos, because I'm a big YouTuber. Like one of the first things I said is, go to YouTube because if you're gonna pay for courses, you definitely got to stick to it, but make sure that you get the free resources first before you start jumping
Yeah.
in and paying for a bunch of services that you may not even use. But anyway, when it comes to like YouTube, like how did you filter through like, the good stuff and the bad stuff? Because there's a lot of like riffraff on YouTube, man.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. Yeah, yeah, because for me, just being introduced to YouTube, it was a lot. You understand? It was a lot.
Yep.
First things first, I had to find content that I could relate to it.
Hmm.
You understand? Because a lot of these YouTube channels, they
Yep.
just go. Some of them dive right into what you want to learn. There's
Yep.
no like fundamentals and all of that. And the ones you find the fundamentals are so vague. They
Yeah.
don't narrow it down. You understand? So what I did first was I had to find Nigerian YouTubers in product design that I could like
Okay.
relate with, understand what you're saying. So I found a couple, but there was this particular guy that just stood out to me, and I used his steps and all of that. Even before then, I had to like find out what product design is. The software we use is Figma, so
Okay.
I had to understand because a couple of these videos because I was just new to it, so I didn't know how to navigate. So I had to like understand what Figma is, how to use Figma, where to get the colors, the shape, the sizes, and all of that. So when I knew that, it was easy for me to like transition to understand a couple of the designs I was watching because what I used to do then is I use my phone, put
Okay.
it on the side, then I use the laptop. So while I'm watching, I'm like redesigning. So that was how it was even easier for me. So
Nice.
yeah, that
Nice.
was it. So I had to like navigate. I had to like get to understand the Nigerian YouTubers in product design before I transitioned to the guys in the US, in the UK, even India too. So
Yeah.
that was what I
No,
did.
that's awesome, man. I mean, the fact that one, you're not just like watching the videos, but you're actually practicing and doing
Yeah,
practical stuff too. I think that's it's self-explanatory that, and it just makes common sense that you should do that. But it's not a lot of people that actually do that. A lot of folks actually just watch a bunch of videos, and then as things progress, they actually forget like what they're doing.
Yeah.
So did you do any like personal projects while you were like learning and growing? Um,
Yeah. Yeah, actually, when I started, I was working on a couple of things. I was so excited when I just like designed a button, or
yeah.
if I just add image onto Figma. I'm so excited. So I used to keep a couple of those files. So
Hmm.
when from time I go back there, see them, I just laugh and all of that, because
Nice.
when I started, I had so many ideas of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to design, what I wanted to build. But as time kept going, I had to like understand that when you do a project, even if it's just like a landing page of a website, when you do that, you have to move on to the next thing,
Yeah.
because that is how you're like building up your skill.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you do a normal design here, I always say you duplicate it and try something better, so you can go back and reference like, oh, this looks good. I'm making progress. You understand? So
Yeah.
I had a bunch of unfinished projects right now from my early days. Yeah, but I never got to finish them, because for me it was just a learning process. That
Yeah.
was it. That was it for me.
No, that's good. I mean, the fact that you're making it your own, that's a underscored like nuance of like learning tech eh, in any field. Just I think making it personal and applying it to something that you actually care about. It gives you more zeal and interest in actually, learning whatever it
Exactly.
is that you're learning. So that's dope,
Exactly.
man.
Thanks, man.
Cool,
Appreciate
cool.
that.
All right, so getting into like the field and stuff, like what was like your first job like, and was it a struggle, kind of like learning some new concepts, or did you just kind of like pick it up?
Yeah, it was actually a struggle, because when you're learning something, it gets to a stage where you feel like, okay, you're good enough.
Yeah.
You understand? You have an idea to an extent of what you're doing.
Hmm.
So when I was put in the field of actually working on a live project, I struggled, because then I had to understand the concept of professional and not professional.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
understand? Because you get clients like in different fields. So someone is coming to you like, I want a professional website on how it can show my business, and what I do is very corporate and all of that. You can't start designing funny things and putting too many colors and all of that.
Yep.
So at first for me it was a struggle, because when I was put on the team like an intern, I was actually put on like an intern. So I struggled, you understand, like so much. I didn't understand what they wanted, but I knew what I could give.
Yeah.
You understand? So they had to like get someone else to like just pull me through, even though I was given the job to do it.
Yeah.
An external mind. And that's one thing about designers. It's good to rub off
Yep.
other designers. So it just laid out the blueprints for me, like, oh, this is what you have to do. Just make it simple, make it this, make it that. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So from there, it was kind of like easy for me. But in the beginning, let's say, because the project took about 5 months.
Okay.
So trust me when I say like a whole month of me just trying to navigate the first page of this website was
Yeah.
a hassle.
Yep.
Trust me.
Yep.
I was like making so many mistakes, because I felt like I was under a lot of pressure, but at the same time they were like, just chill, just chill. Then they come and tell you like the clients want to see something, we just chill, and you're like, oh, okay. So like the pressure from all around, like it was a lot, but I just rubbing off someone else's idea made it easier for me. Made it, yeah. So that was how it was. That was how it was.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. And then in terms of like your teammates, I know you said they kind of paired you up with somebody else. Did you get like good teammates that were like really helpful that you stay in touch with even till this day?
Yeah, funny how you said that, because even yesterday I kind of like spoke with a guy, because a lot of people sometimes they don't know how big of a help they are to you in
Yeah.
so many fields. You understand? Because
Yep.
when I was working with this guy, and this was like 2020, yeah,
Mhm.
2020 or early 2021. Because when I was working with this guy, he felt like he was just helping his brother, he was just helping a friend and all of that. Because he was just telling me, showing me, like, he opened my eye to so many things, even so many resources and all of that. So
Yeah.
working with him, like, it was a good one. The team, the developers, because I know there's this battle with product designers and developers and all of that. Because they kind of like nursed me into that field. So it was smooth sailing for me in the beginning
Yeah,
until I got to see their true colors.
yeah.
So it was a good one. My first project was actually a good one. It took a long time because then I didn't understand like what the process was.
Hmm.
I didn't know like development stage was a lot. You understand? Even the design stage is a lot because what you're doing, someone has to vet it and check. It was a lot. So for me, patients came in and the teammates, all of them, they were like supportive, encouraging me and all of that. So
Gotcha.
that was yeah, it was a good one. First project was a good one. I can't
Good.
forget that. It was a good one.
Nice, nice, man. Yeah, I've seen those memes before where, they have I think product is supposed to be like a let's say like a lion, and then at the end of it the developers come out with a giraffe. They're like, what what, what happened?
Well, the war is still ongoing, man. We ain't stopping anytime soon.
That's cool. That's cool though, man. But yeah, I mean, I think just what you just said there, like in terms of being able to find sort of like a partner, not necessarily a mentor, but just a partner or a friend that
Yeah,
you can partner with and you can kind of learn and grow with in the field. That's extremely important, especially if you're new. If you're getting into the space and you are actually gravitating to somebody or they're gravitating towards you, utilize
yeah,
that, and not just be a leech. But I'm pretty sure there's things that you offered, uh, in terms of whether it's skills or just your services that you offer to your teammate that helped him to want to talk with you a little bit more or help you grow a lot more. And I feel like sometimes we look at it as like a one-way street of just I'm getting help from this person or mentor or whoever it is, but there's things that you offer as well to that mentor to
yeah.
help him look at things a little bit differently. So that's dope, man. Oh, so in regards to, I guess, starting out, you got uh, a friend that is helping you kind of navigate your way. Is there on the opposite end someone that was a little bit more difficult to work with, whether it's a manager or whoever? Was
Uh,
there somebody like that as well? And how did you
um,
deal with that?
Okay, so with the first project, yeah, it was. I think it was. I would say it was difficult, but I just that was like me also learning like the individual roles that playing into a project, like the project manager. Yeah,
Okay.
so she just put a little bit of pressure. It was a little bit because she just made me understand that in as much like I said earlier, in as much as they wanted you to relax and
Yeah.
understand what you're doing, there was a time frame for everything. So she
Okay.
wanted you to like, oh, you have a week to do this for us to see this. So you understand. So it was just small meeting deadlines, and she made sure like, oh, I had to meet the deadlines and all of that. So that was like the only thing. So I had to. That was me training myself because it was my first project. So I had to like work twice as hard to meet up with deadlines and everything. And trust me, it has helped me till today.
Good.
Till
Good.
today, that's just it. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then what about like working with clients? I know sometimes that's a bit difficult for some people being client facing and like literally having to take instructions from like the client, like, no, we
Yeah.
don't like this, or no, that's a terrible idea, or that's great. Like, how was that? How was your experience with that?
Okay, so I would say my experience starting out and now. So starting out, I wasn't dealing with the clients directly.
Okay,
You understand? I wasn't dealing with them directly. I was just dealing with the let's say the company, the owner of the company where I was doing my internship. So
gotcha.
I was just dealing with so I'll just say when you break down the chain of command, I was basically dealing with like the product manager. You understand? So that was like the highest chain of command I was having conversations with. But as of now, that I'm dealing directly with like the clients, the owners, and all of
Gotcha.
that. Where do I start from?
Yeah.
Because just like you said, so many things you won't be in agreement with.
Hmm.
Firstly, it can be the colors, it can be the shade,
Yeah.
it can be the font,
Yeah.
it can
Yeah.
be so it's a lot. So one thing about me is when I'm working, when I'm designing, I tend to make two types of designs. You
Hmm.
understand? I make one with, like, for example, the blue color and one with the red color. Then I give it to you.
Yep.
So I don't want you. Most times, a couple of all these clients, they don't have an idea of what they want. They just know what they want, but they don't know how to, like, explain it to you. So what I do is I make like two designs, or let's say at most maybe sometimes three, just to
Hmm.
throw it to you and be like, okay, look at this, let me know what you think. So most times it helps me because it tends to, like, put them in this kind of box where they don't, because a lot of clients actually want something dropping from the sky and coming from the, just to put everything together. So it's a lot. So for you for you to save your time or like a lot of all these things, you just trying to,
Yeah.
like, put them in this box where you have, like, limited options for them to pick, and that favors
Yeah.
you, you understand. So dealing with them now, it's a lot, because there are
Yeah.
some clients that are, like, understanding. There's some
Right.
that they are so demanding. So I love dealing with the understanding one. I feel like everybody would love to deal with the understanding ones, because to them they're, like, comfortable with, like, the bare minimum. But at the same time, you need to understand that when you're working on a project, don't just look at it as it's the client that is going to use it.
Right.
Think about it like the world can see this. You don't
Yeah.
know what's going to be your next big break, and you want something that's going to stand out and can also, like, people come look for you and all of that. So that's just it. You're a different type of client, so I know how to deal with them now. Like, yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean that's a good point. So actually, I've never really thought in depth too much about that because I'm not really in that space. But from a engineering standpoint, it's like um, there's not really too many nuances about it. It's like, if your code does this, it outputs that. Whereas from your standpoint, it's like there's a lot of different like
yeah,
angles and different like ways. It's more subjective. And you have a lot of different approaches to like doing things. So whether it's like the color in terms of like the transitions, the schemes, the formats, all like all those things are like a little bit different. Whereas from a coding standpoint, it's like if your code works and if it does what it's supposed to do, then that's really it. So I mean that can be, I can imagine that being very challenging. So when it comes to like being a creative, which I'm just I may be trying to link two things that may not be there, but you
let's
know,
go.
yeah, if a person is like very creative or artistic, and I'm thinking about people that want to transition into tech. Um,
Okay.
I'm assuming this probably might be a good lane. Like if you are a person that has an eye for like um, things that clients like or customers like would find appealing. I'm assuming like product design would probably be a good field for folks to jump into. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, cause cause product design is very versatile. It's broad. Because even for me right now, there's some things I see on, like, LinkedIn or Dribble. That Dribble is like a platform where we can get, like, other design inspirations. So
Nice,
there's
nice,
some things I see, and there's some designs I see people do, and I'm like, yo, is this on the same platform I'm working on?
nice,
Because
nice. Yeah,
it's it's a lot. It's mind blowing. Like, so many creative out there. So you need to understand what you want to go into when it comes to design. Just leave out the product part. Like, in
yeah,
design, what do you want to do? How
yeah,
good are you? You understand? How creative are you? So when you come into this field of being a designer,
yeah,
you can do so many things. Like, you can achieve so many things. Because trust me, I've seen a lot of things, like live, like so many different types of animations, and I'm like, this isn't even coded. Like, this doesn't have any program behind it, just design. And I'm like, wow. So
yeah,
that's it. And design is something that you keep learning.
yeah,
It doesn't stop, it doesn't end. You keep learning, you keep moving. So that's it. It's something you can actually come and just, like, explore your creativity. Yeah.
yeah. I was just taking notes on that. So you said Dribble is one that you get inspiration from.
Yeah.
Okay. So with outside of like Dribble, let's say for instance you wanted to um, conferences or like different sort of like talks that help product designers. Like, what are some things that you use personally to help you grow in the field?
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so when I was starting out, I aside okay, first things first, I'll say YouTube.
Hmm.
YouTube is like one thing where you can actually watch designers interact and all of that.
Yep.
There's so many platforms, you know. All our top the thing is all our top platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, they all have these resources. It's just how can you find them? How can
Yep.
you find good ones? You
Yep.
understand? So
Yep.
I'm let me categorize it into two. So when you want to see get design inspirations, you can go to like Dribble, you can
Okay.
go to Behance, you understand? Even sometimes LinkedIn, you can get stuff like that. There are other websites, Mobins and the rest of that. But when you want to get talks on you can go to like Spotify. On
Okay.
Apple, there's this app, the podcast app. Yeah, you can actually go on there and search stuff like design related questions. Like
Okay.
anything you search for design related, you get a result. You understand?
Gotcha.
So right now it's just up to you to like filter and all of that, because you don't I don't know what you want to listen to. I don't know what your area of expertise is. So by the time you like dabble into all of this, you definitely get something that you're looking for. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, sorry, my guy Nick just gave me a drink, so I have to
Yeah.
apologize to you because you're remote, so you don't get a sip sip with me, man.
I
But
got
next
some
time,
with so
that's what I'm talking about, bro. So what about like conferences? Are there conferences in like Nigeria for like product designers? Are there like meetups and stuff like that that you guys have?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's stuffs like that. Yes, yes, yes. We have different stuffs like that. So a couple of times there can be like some maybe 3, 4 times in a month. You
Okay.
just have to be aware and being in all these like design spaces, especially in your community. Because being in Lagos, you have to find out like, okay, what type of communities can I join?
Yeah.
You can join a lot of them on Telegram, Twitter. Yeah, there are a lot of like just search for a product design in Lagos.
Okay.
Then you get to see so many communities where you can join and yeah, I know that. Funny enough, funny how I have not joined or attended any conference yet, but I'm actually hosting my first one where I'm like a
Nice.
guest next week, but it's just
Okay.
online and all of that. So yeah, I'll be
Gotcha.
posting that on my LinkedIn this week. Yeah,
Dope. Yeah. Yeah. Let us know, man, and we'll promote it also, man. That's dope.
appreciate that.
Good
Appreciate that.
stuff. Good stuff. Okay. So one of the I guess the tenets of like the podcast is that we want to try to educate and help promote not just tech but helping folks who aren't savvy about tech or trying to learn more about tech, give them like sort of like a rubric or a blueprint,
Yeah,
right? So if someone is in Nigeria, some student, JSS student, say, "Hey, I want to be a product designer like Moses Jacob."
yeah.
What are like what's like a template that you'll tell them to like take? Let's say they're based in Lagos and they want to be a product designer. What would you like suggest, bro?
Okay. That's a good question because right now we're trying to like where the world is going to. We're trying to like tech is going to be very, very, very relevant.
Mhm.
So it's good to like capture the young minds now and stuff like that. So the first thing is, um, I would say trying to get a mentor.
Okay.
That's the first thing because when I started out, I didn't have someone I could that actually dedicated like his time to like, oh, I want to see this guy grow. I want to see this guy become something. A lot of times you just like getting ideas from different people, like, oh, what's the meaning of this? How explain this? And, but when you have someone that is like a mentor that can put you through, you can show your work, and you know they understand your struggles as an upcoming designer. It helps a lot. It goes a long way. Trust me. So I would say when you get a mentor, the next thing is because a lot of people don't have money to just start paying for courses and attending conferences and seminars. So I would say I think aside YouTube, I'm not really familiar with the like platforms that have like free resources. I think I don't think anyone is coming off my head right now, but let's just give an example for YouTube. Yeah, so if you can dive into YouTube with the help of a mentor, because young minds don't actually know what to search for
Yep.
in a
Yep.
space where you're just diving into this, no idea. So when you have someone that can put you through, you know what to search for, and they can recommend stuffs. You understand? Because
Yeah.
if I'm gonna go back to when I started, from the guy I was talking about from the first project I worked with,
Mhm.
he gave me some resources, and also me being so eager, and I was sharing so many things that I found out,
Mhm.
like, oh, I saw this, I watched this, I did this.
Yeah.
So he was
Yep.
able to, like, filter it for me, like, oh, no, 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 don't watch this yet if you don't understand this.
Yep.
Don't do this yet if you don't sure you understand. So a lot of times having a mentor is like very, very, very important, very, very important. And the way it is right now, like everybody is trying to like get their own, chase their own. You don't need to like have one mentor, because you might not have that time to dedicate, like, oh, okay, I want to help you from ground up, you understand? So if you can get like two, three people you can like call on to when this one is not available and when this is available, I think it's gonna go a long way. So first things first, trying to get a mentor, trying to get someone you can talk to. And I feel like from there it's like gonna be a smooth sailing, because they can actually put you through on what you need to understand or what you need to learn. It will be an easy transition for you to learn Figma, our software, colors, and the rest of that. So that's just it for me. That's what
Yeah.
I would
Good
tell
stuff.
someone.
So I'm gonna go back on I think your first point, getting a mentor. So um, a young lady I spoke to, on one of our podcasts was saying that she got a mentor through Twitter. What would you recommend, like, for somebody that's there's like, hey, how do I find even a mentor? Um, like, what would you recommend? Like LinkedIn, or like how would you recommend
Yeah,
they approach them?
those two, Twitter and LinkedIn.
Okay.
Those two, they're very, very good. Because till today, like LinkedIn, I feel first things first, LinkedIn is something that when you search whatever field you want to go into, like product design, you search for a product designer, you can get a list of product designers that even you see, like, it's so filtered that you can get it in mile radiuses, and the ones that are so close to you. You see someone, you like what they do, you've seen their experience, you just connect.
Yep.
When connection is done, slide into the DM. Not like literally. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make it professional, you enter into
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
DM.
I get it. I get it, man. Don't go
Yeah,
crazy in the
so
DM, man.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you go into the DM, have a template of what you want to say. Don't just do hey, hi,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so go straight to the point, say what you gotta say, pitch yourself.
Yeah.
Um, then from there, because sometimes I get a couple of DMs and I'm like, how's it going? And you're
Yeah.
like, I'm good. How was your night? And I'm like,
What? Yeah. Yeah. No. I'm glad you brought that point up because, like, I think sometimes people think they don't understand that from a professional, like, a social media platform versus like a Facebook or Instagram.
yeah,
Like, you don't go just say, how are you, sir? And then
yeah,
start
it's
asking
crazy.
silly questions like, how's your nights, how's your family, and all these sort of things. Like, you need to make sure that you ask like serious questions.
Like,
So I'm glad you brought that point up because a lot of people, I think it goes over the head, is like, no one wants
yeah.
to tell you about their family. They just met you. Like, they don't know who you are.
And a lot of people are kind of like scared to like go straight to the point, because they
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
if I go soft, maybe the person is going to warm up to me. No,
yeah,
just
yeah.
shoot, like just shoot it, just say it, send the
Exactly,
message,
exactly,
and all
exactly.
of that. It doesn't need to
Yeah,
be like long, because a lot of
right.
people don't have, like me, I have I don't know what it's called, but um I don't like seeing too many texts.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yep,
don't like it. You
yep,
understand? Because I have to filter, and I don't want to miss
yep,
something. So
yep.
make it short, straight to the point. Two paragraphs.
Yeah,
Hello,
yeah,
sir. My name is this, this, this. I
yeah,
have zero experience. I would love
yeah.
your content. I really want to learn. How do
Exactly.
you? You don't.
Yeah,
You don't even need to ask. Can you be my mentor? Like,
yeah,
what do you recommend?
yeah,
Start the conversation. Then when I
yeah.
like, oh, okay, check this, check this, check this, and I'm like, oh, nice. I like your inputs. Are
Right.
you less busy? Can we jump on a call?
Yeah,
Because you don't want just anybody, because you see what someone can do. you don't just want that person to be your mentor straight away, because
Yep.
sometimes the person might not know how to express herself.
Yep.
That's a very, very important, because
Right.
everybody cannot be a mentor. Because when I
Exactly.
was starting out to my friend, it was a friend, but it wasn't a mentor. It was like, oh, no, 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 you can't do this. It's not correct. It's not
Yeah.
right. And I'm like, okay, what's the right one? What's the right
Right.
way? You understand?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's just it. You just need
Yeah.
to know what to say at the right time.
Yeah. And I mean, this goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway, just because
Yeah.
um, I get it. There's a lot of struggle in um, the continent as a whole. But when it comes to like when you find a mentor, somebody that you like attached to, don't ask them for money. Don't ask them for like funding you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing I think a lot of like folks kind of they get misconstrued. Like somebody wants to help you out. The education itself that they're pouring into you, that's worth more than the, couple of dollars that you're gonna get for whatever sisters or Naira or Leons, whatever that you're gonna get. Like it baffles me sometimes how people mess up like good opportunities because they're looking
Yeah.
short term, which I get it. There's struggles, there's like a lot of like needs. But when it comes to you trying to change your life, don't mess that up for momentary like lapse because you're looking for some handout.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that folks who are watching this back in the continent, you understand that once you find somebody that is willing to pour their knowledge into you and they're willing to spend that time, latch onto that. Don't take that for granted because that education itself is worth thousands and thousands of dollars over in the
Yeah.
U.S., UK, wherever it's at. So, yeah, man,
Can I elaborate on that?
for
Because
sure,
I
bro.
have
Yeah,
like some crazy experiences where when I started, when I got my first job, which I'm currently still working at as a 3 years plus now, it's you get to meet a couple of people when I like post my stuff online, and people tend to reach out to me, and I hear you get messages like, I hear tech is like the next big thing. How can I come on board? And you're like, oh, okay. In my mind, I want to help you.
right.
And when I like share some kind of resources, or maybe I just ask them like, okay, what do you want to venture into? And you hear stuff like, I want something I can learn. I want something I can learn and land the job in like a month and start making six figures. Because I hear tech boys and tech girls are making six figures.
Yeah,
I'm like, do you know how long it took me?
right. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, do you know how long? And so a lot of people just want it quick, quick, quick. I understand, like you said, what's going on in the country and the economy, but we need to understand that you're building up a foundation of something that is gonna last you forever. Because this is knowledge is power, knowledge is
exactly,
key,
exactly,
knowledge
bro.
is money. There are some places you walk into right now, and what's like the top guy there knows
Hmm.
is what's like your fundamentals, like the foundation for your own knowledge, and you can come in and take the
Yeah,
throne. Like, you understand what I'm trying to
yeah,
say? So knowledge is power, knowledge is key. Don't just think everything is for a quick buck, because
yeah,
when you do what you want to do and you learn what you want to learn, it's gonna stay with you for a long time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that is not what you just said is not germane just to Nigeria. Like in the US is the same way. Like you got I call them psychotic boot campers. Like literally, if they finish a boot camp and all of a sudden it's like I want to make six figures. I'm like, are you mad? Did you think about like what is going to take to actually get to that? Because at the end of the day, once you
Yeah,
have the knowledge and you're good at what you're doing, the money's gonna come. The
it's gonna
people,
come.
yeah, people attract to people that know their stuff and that know it well. I always tell some of the students that I've taught, and the ones who are doing really good right now, you know, I always tell them focus on your craft, focus on knowing your subject to the point where like you're, of course, a SME, but also like you're the go-to that people know from their phone or their Rolodex to say, hey, SAR knows enterprise security or SAR knows blah blah blah. I'm gonna call him and ping him about XYZ. And once you get to that space, like
Yeah,
you don't have to job hunt probably as much as like most other people when it comes to like opportunities. And that's what people do even on LinkedIn. If you just do a search for people who are saying that they're leaving XYZ jobs, they don't typically search like the ones that are really good at their jobs. They don't typically search for new jobs. They just post that. and within a week or 2 weeks, you hear, "Oh, I'm going to be joining XYZ company," because
Yeah.
somebody's been following them for years. They say, "Hey, man, we're hiring at our spot. I think you'd be a perfect fit." Um, and just a quick story to this. Um, I left the job in 2018. I was one of the top engineers there. I think I had like 29 clients, and we're supposed to be having like 7 clients, but it was an MSSP. I had like 29 clients. Um, I was literally doing any and everything that they asked me to do, but then I was getting burnt out, and I told my wife, I'm like, I think they like me a lot, blah blah blah, and all this other jazz, but I'm getting burnt out. So I told them I'm going to leave. They offered to pay me, I think like, you know, 20K or something like that more than what I was currently getting. I was like, nah, I'm ready to leave, because to me, they would have given me that money then if they really, if they
Yeah,
saw
exactly.
my value. You should pay me what I
Exactly.
deserved then anyway. But anyway, when I left, it was maybe a year and a half or two later. One of the analysts, one of the guys that I always work with, I taught him how to do like some Splunk queries, and taught him some like scripting and stuff like that. Um, and he pinged me. They had a principal engineer role, and he's like, "Dude, you're like the perfect fit. You're the first person I decided to call." And
Mm.
this was like a high paying role. Like, it was a startup. I haven't checked how they're doing. I probably messed up myself by not taking it. But it's a startup. I mean, it was 250 plus whatever. But I mean, it was a really good role. But at the time, I was comfortable with whatever I was doing, and I declined it. But to me, it made me feel really good that I didn't have to even apply to that job, just
Yeah,
because of like me being good at what I was doing and then helping out other people, that they remembered me to even
yeah,
put me in that position. And that's not the only time that's happened. That's happened to me and others that I know several times as well. And that's why I always tell people, like, treat people well, but also
yeah,
be really good at what you're doing. That's going to
yeah.
go a long way. If you want to call karma, whatever it is, but
Mm.
it matters, man. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can also add to that because one thing people don't know is where you think your next opportunity is coming from
mhm.
is the opposite.
Yeah,
Because a
yep,
lot of times, a lot of side gigs I've gotten for myself are from people like I didn't even expect. Like there was this girl that was on my contact, and we've been friends for like 5 plus years or something like that.
mhm,
And she just hit me out of the blue, and she was like, what's up? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. How you doing? Long time. And she's like, yeah, yeah, leave all the formalities. You do design, right? And I'm
yeah,
like, yeah. And she's like, nah, I
yeah.
got a cousin that wants to do something. Is in the UK and all of that. And till today, I'm working on the third project with this guy.
Nice, nice, bro. Nice.
You
Yeah,
understand? Because you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like people don't know where my first job was from. Someone. My first job was from someone. I think I shared this with you. Like it was from someone that he never used to compliment you on my designs.
Mhm.
He never used to correct me. He never
Yeah,
used to do anything. And one Sunday, he just hit me up like, "Yo,
they're
there's
watching.
an interview that's
Yeah,
gonna happen like
yeah,
today
yep,
with my boss, and
mhm,
I want you on board." And I was
yeah,
just thinking like it was just like this, probably just a side project and all of that
yeah,
until I jumped on the WhatsApp call with the
yeah,
three of us. And he didn't ask me any questions. It was just like, okay, so is this your offer? I heard this was your offer.
yeah,
Are we good? Do you want this, this? I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay. It was just like a movie. And it was
Nice,
like,
nice,
ah,
man.
yeah, you're hired. And I'm
Yeah,
like, okay. And I thought it
yeah,
was a scam because I was like, what?
yeah,
What?
yeah,
I told my wife, I was like, then she was still my girlfriend. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna celebrate this until I see the offer letter. And she was
yep,
like, it's
yep.
going to come, it's going to come. I'm like, nah. Because it was on a Sunday, then on a
Yeah,
Monday, nothing. On a Tuesday, I thought I
yeah,
told you, I told you.
yep.
On Wednesday, when I saw the email, I was like, what? Bro, he was so crazy. Like a lot of
Yeah,
times you don't just know where the opportunity is gonna come
yeah,
from, honestly. Treat everybody right and
yeah,
respect.
yep,
Nah, it's good.
yeah. And I mean, that's really good. Another point, to just tag on to that, was the fact that people are watching what you're doing. A lot of folks that get into this space, like, okay, 6 figures, whatever it is that you want to make, that's good and fine and dandy, but don't be a trash engineer. Don't be a trash tech
Yeah,
person. Like, um, a lot of folks want to be mediocre or be less than. This is a competitive field. if you're doing a piss poor job, you probably will get replaced. And especially when it comes to like, as you've seen the tech cutbacks. Um, I've I've been fortunate. I've survived cutbacks and layoffs and all that other stuff in every um, job I've been in. But there's been a lot of folks that haven't, and honestly, the folks that get cut are usually the ones that don't produce. And you
Mm,
don't want to be one of those individuals that you're not producing. And I'm not saying this is like the gospel truth for every situation, but uh, more often than not, if you're a person that you don't bring value, you're one of the first
yeah,
people that they're gonna, let go because you're not bringing value to the company, and they're not
yeah,
seeing a lot of, value added based on what you're doing. So, really, really pay attention to the work that you're doing because that
yeah,
matters a lot.
yeah,
And then not only from a space of not being fired, but also, like you said, opportunities coming from, you know, different avenues that you never even thought about. Somebody's
yeah.
watching the work that you're doing silently. They may not comment, they may not say nothing. They'll probably just sit back and just nod their head. Okay, Moses. Okay, I see you, bro. So yeah, man. But that's dope, man. I love that, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's good. It's good.
Cool, man. All right, let's transition a bit, man.
All right.
College. Did you go to college, school, or
Yeah,
um?
so yeah, yeah, yeah. So I went to high school, then university. But the thing is, the thing about Nigeria is that you can study one thing and work
Yeah,
in another field.
yeah.
So you can do history and work in a bank. You can do philosophy and work in a bank. You can,
Mhm.
anything. So I was studying environmental toxicology
Okay,
at some university, and
bro.
I
What is that? I'm sorry. Environmental
listen.
toxicology.
I don't even know myself because what I know is I got a degree and I dipped
Okay.
because all I could care about was all I could care about was working. Like I just just like it is like
Yeah.
it was when we was talking about in the beginning. You just want that
Mhm.
quick box. You just want that quick
Yeah.
fix and all of that. Because
Yep.
what she told me was like, listen, this is gonna go a long way. You
Hmm.
have to learn it. And I was like, nah, because I don't want to be on no salary and all that. She's like, listen, when you're on a salary, it's good because you can like plan yourself. You know what's coming in, and have something on the side. That's
Yeah.
cool. But have something coming in consistently and constantly and all of that. And I was like, okay, no problem. Because I was just doing that. I went to school because African parents, you need to go to school, you need to get a degree. They don't
Yep.
care about anything. They have to brag. My son is a graduate. He went
Yes.
to school. So I was like, okay, no problem, because
Yeah.
I was actually into business. I used to sell shoes online, this online thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
So I thought like I was gonna get a big store in Lagos, start importing stuffs,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it didn't actually work out because of funds. And
Hmm.
then she just told me like, okay, I let you do your thing. Now listen to this thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I bet I'm here today. So yeah,
Okay.
that's it. That's it. But what I'm gonna say is that for a lot of people in Nigeria, because I feel like a lot of people in tech right now in Nigeria, Lagos, and all of that are going to tell you something.
Hmm.
The educational system doesn't really teach you what's like what you use in the particular field you are in right now. The
Yeah.
educational system doesn't teach you that.
It's not
You understand?
practical. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I think it might be all over the world sometimes, but like
It is.
a
It
lot
is.
of people, like let's say as a designer, they're not teaching you. It's just like a big field. Let's say computer science as a whole. You're gonna study computer
Yep.
science in
Hmm.
school. And there was a friend of mine. Like I was in this class there during the COVID time when everything was like started coming up online and all of that. I listened to one of his classes and it was like, just come and listen to this. And the lady was like, you will put this and put it here to put this and bring. I'm like, how is this practical? You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like when it's done with class, a lot of them back then in school they come together and go online to like search for the course related like online, maybe like on YouTube and the rest of that, and they
Yeah.
get to study again.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's just it. So for school, school is good
Yeah.
because a lot of times it comes in handy. You have to be learned to know what you're doing. You know,
Yeah.
or you just have to like practice on your own, learn a lot of things, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, no, you're completely right. Because even in the U.S. is the same way, where um, it's a lot of stuff that gets a lot of just unnecessary information that gets funneled into people's brains that is never
Yeah.
used. And regardless whether it's tech or other fields, that there's just a lot of stuff that just gets passed down. And when you
Mm.
start working in the fields, like, why the heck did I learn that? That makes no sense at all. Nick is over here shaking his head. It's crazy, man. Because and I mean that's the rise of, unfortunately, the boot camp psychotics, where it's like now that I finished boot camp, I know how to do everything, which is
Mm.
not necessarily true, but it boot camps do help you to focus and specialize in certain areas, which I do love, and I'm hoping from a um, institutional standpoint that they start looking at that as well. So if
Yeah.
you're focusing on, like, let's say cybersecurity, like literally teach cybersecurity
Yeah.
tools. If you're
Yeah.
focused on product design, um, teach on things that product designers are going to be using, like Dribble and some of the other things that you had mentioned before. And to me, like, I feel like that's the way that education is eventually going to be forced to pivot to, where we can have a bunch of individuals that are going to be specializing in certain areas. Like, AI now is like a big thing, where
Yeah.
from a conceptual standpoint or theoretical, yeah, you can talk about the abstract of, like, LLMs and all that other stuff, but when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to, like, actually doing the the work in itself, like, you have to be really focused on what the person is going to be doing. And I think that that's the wave moving forward. And I bring that up to say, when it comes to students who are actually in college now or in high school or whatever it is, and trying to get into the tech space, um, build something, whatever it
Mm.
is. Build something. Don't just go to school and just say, okay, I graduated from comp sci or information systems or whatever it is. Build something so that you can build your resume, because that's what they
Yeah.
look for. It's say, okay, what have you done with whatever? You can have practical examples. I created a program that did XYZ. This is exactly how it works. It's been used by 3 or 4 or 6,000 users, whatever it is. Have something that you can actually display. If you're a product designer, have some products that you've actually designed or that you
Yeah.
worked on, so that you have some examples for others. And I feel like um, those are practical ways that you can, kind of set yourself above the market a little bit, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 That's true. That's true. It's all about the experience, not even
Yep,
the education. Yeah. It's all
exactly,
about.
man.
True. True. True.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. All right, bro. When it comes to, like, recruiters, man, how's recruiting in, like, Nigeria? How does that work?
Uh, it's
You seem distressed, my guy.
it's funny because it's funny and it's not funny because a lot of times I think what happens is like when someone, let's say for example, I'm leaving a particular job
Hmm.
within the organization, they probably have someone that's going to replace,
Okay.
or they tend to like ask individuals like in the company like, oh, do you have someone you can recommend for this role before it comes outside
Yep.
for others to like apply and all of that. So the job market is actually crazy, because I'll say this in the sense that what you've noticed is a lot of people putting people in positions where they relate with you. You understand? It's just like how
Yeah.
you said, just like the example I was using. I live somewhere and I'm like, I tell someone, oh, I'm actually looking for a job, and they're like, oh yeah, you're the best fit for this job, and they put you in rather than like putting the job out there for people to actually apply and all of that.
Yeah. Yep.
So for recruiters, it's a lot of times most of them don't know what to ask you.
Mhm.
You understand? They don't know. They just looking for someone that just put into the, like for example, let's say is it might be budget wise. They're looking at, oh, I need someone with 5 years experience. Okay, let me use dollars or naira. So someone with 5 years experience, this and that. The starting salary is about $30,000 a year
Hmm.
or $40,000 a year, and you know within yourself, like with 5 years experience, I'm supposed to be getting like 150K,
Hmm.
120K, and all of that. So
Yeah.
it's gonna make you not want to apply, but you don't have a job, but you might not like want to apply for it, and they're bringing you down and all of those things.
Yeah.
So a lot of factors play into it, money, the rest of that. Most of the time, the recruiters don't know what to ask. Most of the time, the jobs are already filled before it even hits the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just it. That's just it. It's a lot. It's a lot,
Okay.
honestly.
So, I mean, you bring up another really good point when it comes to like salaries. Um, for entry level, I said product designer in Nigeria, um, what is what would you recommend like a salary? Because I know sometimes people get lowballed. You know,
Yeah.
let's say something that you're supposed to be getting, like let's say 60 or 50 thousand dollars, and they say no, we're only going to give you 30,000. Like, what would you recommend for somebody that's a entry level product designer to, let's say, 5 year to a 10 year person? What should be their
Yeah.
salary?
Yeah. So let me say in with dollars for an entry level 1 year 2 years should be collecting nothing less than at least 70K.
Okay,
Yeah, 70K, 80K, and the rest of that. Then when we're talking about 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, then you should be like negotiating over 100 to like 200K.
okay,
You understand? Negotiate that. Then when you're talking about lead design, because a lot of times they categorize it into um, entry level, then you have like mid, senior designer, then you have a lead product designer, and the rest of that. So yeah, so in Nigeria, I would say on monthly salary should be about 200,000 naira
okay.
for an entry level. Let's yeah, about 150 to like 200K entry level, 1 to 2 years, in which I see a lot on LinkedIn, Indeed. Yeah, I see a
Nice.
lot of that. Yeah, you understand.
Yeah.
Um, then moving up 5 years and the rest of that should be collecting at least 700K
Okay.
actually, because 500, 700K, like that should be like the base. And it's not just about the salaries. One thing that is very very important is revisiting that salary after like a year or
Yep.
two.
Yep.
That is the thing, because it's not just, it's about promotion and even you being better at your job. Because if you're in a place like you were saying, like the workload is a lot, there's this, there's that,
Yep.
and at the end of the year I'm not getting something, it's not even going to encourage me to put in my efforts there. You
Yep.
understand?
Yep.
So that's what I say. So a lot of times when I and my friends will talk about this, I'm like, the starting salary is good,
Yeah.
but honestly, a lot of times they need to visit this thing every year. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter the increment, if it's 5%, 1%, 2%. Let that person know, oh, I see you. Well done.
Yeah.
You understand that kind of thing? Because a
Yeah.
lot of times in Nigeria, a lot of, just like I said, it's supposed to be divided into being a UI designer or being a UX designer, but because of budget and funds, they
Yeah.
just hire one designer to do all of this. And
Yep.
it's crazy how they say, oh, you should have like HTML skill, CSS skill. So as a designer, do you still want me to like be coding on the job, like, and you
Yeah.
want to give me
And you want to
100K?
do that? Yeah. 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 Yep.
Exactly. So
Yep.
that's not like good enough. So if I'm gonna be
Yep.
working as a product designer, being doing the UI, the UX, if you're gonna give me something, that's good,
Yeah.
but I need that yearly increment and
Yep.
all of those things, bonuses and the rest of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
that's what.
that's a really good point. I mean, great explanation there because you even bring emphasis on knowing like what the base role of a product designer is and a UX, a researcher, what that should look like. Because if you are getting asked to do basically the job of two positions and you don't understand what one position is supposed to be doing, you're going to get conned into doing like a lot more work and getting less pay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's very important to know like what your typical responsibilities are. And in the U.S., I encourage job hopping. You know, I tell people don't stay at a job for more than like 3 4 years because you're more than likely going to be underpaid unless you
yeah,
have like you're one of the FANG orgs that typically they're very competitive. But if you stay at a job for a while, technically the market itself is growing and you're not probably growing with the same pace as the market. I don't know if it's the same thing in Nigeria.
it's the
It,
same. It's the
same.
same
Okay.
thing. That's why a lot of people right now with there's a lot of people with the trend going about Japa. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No, no, what's Japa, bro?
Yeah, Japa is like living, like relocating to US, the UK, anywhere outside Africa, or even
Ah,
if
gotcha.
it's Africa, you
Yep.
understand? Like
Yep.
just moving because like Nigeria is just so underpaid.
Ah,
The
gotcha.
minimum wage is nothing. Like trust me, is
Wow.
nothing compared
Okay.
to like where the economy is going and all of that. So a lot of people right now are like looking to relocate, even if it's through schools, masters. That's why you see like a lot of international students. I know we might not even we were talking about the numbers because I know Indians are migrating more.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, a lot of people in Asia, even in Africa, yeah, like Nigeria, yeah, everywhere you go to in this world, there are Nigerians there.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
understand? And
Yep.
they're coming because let me give you a crazy instance. Like, it's so crazy that when you calculate how much a cleaner is making in the US,
Yeah.
a cleaner is making millions when you convert it to naira in,
Yeah.
and you're working a corporate 9 to 5 job here in
Yeah.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
Yep.
You understand? So that's
Yep.
why a lot of us like they go abroad, they go and do
Yep.
masters so they can just like get better opportunity and
Yeah.
yeah.
No, no, I get it. We joke about it, but when I go to Sierra Leone in December, I forget what they call them. In Sierra Leone, we have a term for them, and not the term is escaping me, but basically, you have people that work in like McDonald's and places like that. They're making minimum wage, but when they go back to Sierra Leone, I mean, they're flaunting like these
Yo, you're
small
popping
small monies,
bottles.
but then you think
You're
that
popping
they're
bottles.
yeah, I'll tell you, you think that they're millionaires from back in the U.S., but it's
Yeah,
so sad because the money that they're making here as a CNA or as a cook or anything like that is a lot more than what corporate people are making in Sierra Leone, and it's unfortunate. But my hope is like with things like this, we help to kind of reset the market
yeah,
through conversations, and hopefully with things like Starlink, it helps people to be able to get jobs at a global level. Which is actually another question I was going to ask you. Are there opportunities to work for, and I think there is because the one of the girls I interviewed was working for, I think KPMG, for a U.S. or UK based company. Would they pay you? Let's say the job in U.S. pays $150,000. Would they pay you
mm.
that same amount if you're in Nigeria, or would they pay you a lot less?
Okay, so it's actually, yeah, it's two ways because the first thing is if the job is a relocation job.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, we want you, we like what we're hearing, and we actually want you to come to the US.
Yep.
So it's like a relocation job and all of that. When you get to the US, then they pay you the 150K. But
Okay.
if you're in Nigeria, they won't pay you that. I don't like, I stand corrected, man. Most people are probably, it's probably working out for them like that. But
Yeah.
a lot of times they might underpay you. So
Okay.
instead of 150, they can be like, it's 50K a year. You understand?
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
it's like that. So I'm
Yeah.
sure here because I'm sure here like there are people that are earning the same amount of 150 in the
Yeah.
US. In Nigeria, it's very possible.
Yeah.
But what I've heard a lot is like is underpaid. So a lot of people just work remote from home
Yeah.
and they're earning the dollars. And but if they know that when they cross over to that side, it's
Yeah.
gonna be way better. Yeah. It
Nice.
works
Nice.
like that.
Okay. So from an economic standpoint, how far does $50,000 go in Lagos? Like,
Because you're gonna be popping bottles.
Hey.
You are going to be popping Friday. Oh, you're gonna be popping bottles.
Gotcha,
You're gonna
gotcha.
be
Okay,
putting in
okay,
your bands and all of that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
gotcha, gotcha.
It's a good one. It's a good one
Okay,
because
okay.
honestly, my position right now, if I can get that as a
Yeah,
start of you being Lagos,
yeah. Enjoyment.
I'm sure we'll probably be doing this interview on a private jet right now. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
it's gonna be way better because
yeah,
you're gonna have access to a lot of things. You can actually equip yourself better. It
yeah.
goes a long way. Trust me, it goes a long way. It goes a long way.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. And then, we were talking about Joppa before. Like, when it comes to like, let's say a position opens up in like, let's say Russia or something like that. They have a
Yeah.
product design role in Russia. Um, what's like let's say a job wants to hire you for, a UX role in Russia. What's the process to be able to go there and actually go work?
Oh, okay. So aside, okay, this is like after you've gotten the job, the interviews and all of that.
Yep.
Then when they send you your offer letter,
Hmm.
the first thing you have to do, you have to apply for your visa.
Okay.
You understand? You apply for your work visa. Then so as some okay, let's say for somewhere like Russia, I don't know if there's if it's gonna be done online or probably there's an embassy here. You know, you take your documents, probably police reports, medical, your offer letter, and all of that. There'll be like a list of documents you have to bring. Then you take it there. Takes the processing time, probably maybe less than a month, sometime because it's a work visa in the sense that they actually want the idea of it being a work visa and why it's a lot of times very fast is like the company wants you, they're sure of you and everything, so they want you there. So it's gonna be like pretty fast. Then you
Gotcha.
get that, you book your flights and you leave. And most times you might be lucky, the company might just take care of everything, even the flights, accommodation for a while,
Nice.
and so that's it. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Cool.
it.
Cool, man. And are there a lot of like opportunities right now for folks to work outside of Nigeria? Are you seeing like a lot of your friends or people you know? Uh,
Yes. So it's kind of like it was really rampant around the COVID time when there was a lot of layoffs. Yeah, so a lot of jobs were kind of like outsourced to Nigeria and other parts of like Africa. Yeah, so a
gotcha.
lot of people were being paid. It was like $1,000 a month
Hmm.
just to get the job done.
Yeah.
So a lot of people still have those jobs till now, but
Gotcha.
right now it's more on the scale where you need to it's more like relocation because the jobs you're getting these days is like they want you to come over, they want you to come over, they want you to come over. That's why the
Gotcha.
jackpot thing is like a lot. Most of the times you don't even get jobs that you still get because there might be websites and all of that where you get like remote jobs, you work in Nigeria and all of that, but the pay is not as much as when you have to go over there. You understand? So a lot of times you just get the ones that they want you to come over. After you've done your interview in like let's say a UK company, and they want you to come over straight up, you pay for your everything, your flights, you're gone. You understand? So yeah, people still get it, but there's so many factors that limit us in Nigeria being blackballed and all of those things,
Yeah.
the whole scam thing. So when you hear Nigeria, a lot of people want to like, nah, 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 we're not doing that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand? So, yeah,
Yeah. No, it's unfortunate, man.
I've been in a situation where you're talking to a recruiter and they are like trying to confirm. Even it's so crazy. I just thought about something. It's so crazy when they're trying to apply for a job and they're like input your country, and you don't even see Nigeria there.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, you won't even see Nigeria there. You have
Wow.
to like click South Africa, then probably generate the phone number there. You can put now. It's crazy. It's
Wow.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, the whole, of course, 419 and all this other things. Like, it's especially with spoofing, like things that, in cybersecurity we call it attribution, right? So they're places that are being attributed to crimes and things that aren't relevant to specific countries. Like, for instance,
Yeah.
somebody that could be hacking in the US could use a Nigerian IP and still hack
Mm,
whatever companies. And things like that happen fairly often because one of the things that companies like, you know, um, like to see is what they, people like to hear what they believe is already like the truth. So if
yeah.
you hear, oh yeah, this is coming from Nigeria, or this is coming from Sierra Leone or somewhere in West Africa, like it's like, oh yeah, well, more than likely somebody's trying to do XYZ. Let alone
Yeah.
not thinking we barely have the bandwidth to be doing a lot of these
I'm.
things. But you're thinking that we're the ones that are actually like doing a lot of these attacks. Like, come on, bro. Like, be smart about like a lot of these things. And to me, from an educational standpoint, I think not only from those who are based in Nigeria, I think even the major companies, those are things that are still being like dispelled. And I often do my due diligence, or at least I try to, when it comes to educating like um, some folks in security that, hey, no, this likely is not coming from where you think it's coming from, and a lot of the
Yeah.
misnomers about the continent as a whole is it's something we struggle with, and unfortunately, I think
Mhm.
we're just gonna have to battle uphill against that.
Yeah.
Um, but cool, man. I just got a couple more questions because I know we've been kind of going for
Sure.
a minute, man. So when it comes to what you're doing now, like where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, like with product design, or do you see yourself staying in product design, or do you see yourself moving to something different, maybe C level? Like what's your goal?
Oh, okay. So that's a good question because with product design, I kind of see like I don't just want to abandon the whole process. You understand? Because I've seen so many people grow in this field like so well. Like you grow a lot. You understand? There are so many positions out there to be filled with being a product designer. And there's so many heights you can get to. So it's kind of like 50-50 for me because if I'm going okay, so it's like if I'm going to be in Nigeria, I might see myself moving on to like C, you understand, learning React and the rest of that.
Yep.
But if I'm gonna like relocate a job, I get a job or I had to like just travel to like get a job and all of that, I see myself still being in the product design field because there are so many opportunities still being a product designer abroad. You understand? So then I can now decide like, okay, I'm a product designer now. Do I am I comfortable being a UX designer or UI? So I can actually follow what I want to do
Gotcha.
because it's not just being doing the two at the same, so I can just decide, okay, let me do this part while they have someone else in the team that does this part, so it's easier for me and all of that because I've watched so many interviews about so many people abroad in this field, and it's not easy every time, but like it's so easy hearing them talk about, oh, what they do. Oh, I'm a UI designer, I just deal with the colors and this, and I'm like, while
Hmm.
I'm over here and I'm doing the two. So
Yeah, yeah.
if I can like get to that position, I feel like I'll be more comfortable to like do so many other things. Yeah, yeah. So that's it.
Okay, okay. And then this is just for anyone who's interested in hiring a product designer. Like, what's like your specialty when it comes to like, if somebody says, Moses, what are you really good at when it comes to from a product design or the researching standpoint? Like, what can you say? This is just for you to market yourself a bit, bro.
Yeah. So I'll say with my level of experience, I'm actually good with the two,
Okay,
but I'm stronger when it comes to the UI parts. When
okay,
it comes to the visuals, the colors, the typography, and all of that, I'm really good at that. Because a lot of times when you do research, you don't really get what you want when you're doing a lot of research, so you just have to like pick from different places, put them together, and at the end of the day someone doesn't like them. So it's kind of like it kind of brings down the morale and all of that. So if I
yeah,
can get someone to do that and bring it to me, then I'm gonna finish it. So
nice,
that's
nice,
it.
cool, 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 man. All right.
Yeah.
So last two questions I got. I know you when it comes to giving back, one of the things you talked about doing is you have like a is it a podcast or slash conference that you're hosting?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's gonna be next week. It's like a conference thing.
Okay.
Yes, I was just invited to speak on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just on a topic that has to do with like design and like where we see it moving in the future and all of that. So yeah, so I'm actually for me, I'm open right now to like so many more podcasts, talks, seminars, and the rest of that. Just to
Yeah.
encourage people, let there be a voice out there, trying to put people in the right order and all of that. Yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
people also doing that, but I just want to like, I feel like I'm comfortable enough to do it because if I'm not comfortable enough, I don't think we'll be having this conversation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and also, yeah, I have a TikTok where I post like daily content,
Nice.
tips on product design, lifestyle, and the rest of that. So, yeah, that's
Okay.
just it. That's just
Cool.
it.
Yeah, we'll put all your social media handles and stuff like that. We'll get that from you, and we'll include it in
Yeah.
the video also, man. But yeah, no, that's awesome, bro. So the last question, um, when it comes to tech in, uh, I don't want to say Africa, in
Mm,
Nigeria, what
mm.
is your what are the challenges that you see currently, and then what are ways that you think it can be improved? Let's say within 5 years.
Okay, okay, okay. That's a good question. It's a good question because there's so many talented tech bros and tech sis right here in Nigeria. Like, and I think Microsoft's company was here. There are so many other companies that are like here. So I think one of the thing is the economy has to like improve. You understand? Because with that, when you pay a lot of people more, they tend to put in their efforts and all. So you
Yeah,
even get less people trying to like relocate for better opportunities because there are better
yeah,
opportunities here in the country.
yeah,
And yeah, so I feel like everything boils down to the economy because like there's so many ideas. Economy, yeah, because with the economy you can get funding, you understand? Because I feel like there are not enough fundings here in Nigeria. So because I can have an idea and before I can get it funded, there's a lot of process and all of that. Because I should be able to, no matter. I just feel like if I have an idea and I've done a prototype and this is how it is, I should be able to walk into a particular company and they can like, oh, see this, see this, see this, and
yeah.
fund it. Yeah, so I feel like the economy is a very, very huge role, plays a very huge role in this. Yeah, so that's just it. So when the economy boosts well, there's gonna be like money to go around for everybody, and yeah, so with
Yeah.
the money, it's to like fill ideas and all of that. Yeah, so
Cool, cool, man.
that's it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree, man. I think with the influx, I don't know which episode I talked about this, but Facebook, all the fangers in Facebook, Amazon, um, Apple, what do you call it? Meta. Well, Meta is Facebook.
Yeah,
Netflix. Like a lot of those orgs are actually building data centers in Africa, across Africa. So there's going to be an influx of jobs and opportunities in the continent, and I think with
yeah,
the rise of Starlink and it being adopted in many countries now, I think that's going to offer a lot more opportunities for those who are in the continent. And there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of research that's talked about like Africa being like the next up and coming continent that has a boom, just
mm-hmm.
because we have a lot of young individuals that are very talented and are
Yeah,
hungry and are looking for opportunities, and then
yeah,
you have um, so much underdeveloped resources, or underutilized resources and underdeveloped countries in the continent itself. So I agree with you. I think once the economy starts catching up, I mean, things are going to change drastically. Well,
yeah,
across the continent, man, and that's kind of what I'm looking for, man. So
yeah. Me too. Me too. Me too. That's just it. And when these jobs come and all of that, I feel like they should be paid well. Like people need to be
Yeah,
paid well. Let's not look at, oh, because you're in Africa,
yeah.
because this a lot of Western mentality is like we're so poor, we're living in huts, we're living in the bush,
Wow.
you know. So
It's
when you
wild,
come
bro.
here, like it's so crazy. Like even when I watch couple of TikToks and I still see some people like say those things, it's like you
It's
can just
crazy.
educate. Like you have your phone,
Yeah,
just search a lot of rich. There's so many rich black people
yeah,
from Africa that are dominating the world and all of that. So I feel like when these jobs come, when these opportunities come, just pay the people right. You know,
right.
don't take advantage and all of that. A lot of people come with the right mindset. A lot of people just feel like, oh no, 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 they don't deserve this, they don't deserve that. Just pay
Yeah,
because we are actually gonna give our best. There's
yeah,
so many companies right now that if you know the foundation, they were built by a lot of Africans where people just buy off these companies and redefine it and all of that, and they're using it right now. You know, we can never know, but it happens a lot. So that's just what I'm gonna say.
yeah. No, I agree. I think if you can afford to pay an engineer here $150,000, and you have just as brilliant of an engineer in Nigeria, you can pay the same. Um,
Yeah,
One thing I would say from even a business standpoint, even if you say, okay, I want to pay, let's say 75K, just like you say, you can pop bottles at at 50K. At 75K, you're gonna have an engineer that's gonna go all out for you over there that knows
yeah,
XYZ, and is
yeah,
able to build for you the world. So my hope is like with the podcasts and moving forward with the individuals like yourself, people can see that there's talented people out there, um,
yeah,
across the continent, that we can pay a good amount of money that can build us, really
yeah,
great solutions, and we can build around. And I think moving forward, that's going to happen. But
yeah.
it's going to
I
take some
hope so.
time. But I definitely think it's going to happen, bro. All right. Well, Moses, man, thank you again for such a fantastic episode. A lot of nuggets here. One of the things I took note of as you were talking was, when it comes to folks who are trying to get into product design, what to do. You said get a mentor. Twitter,
Yeah,
LinkedIn are good spaces to go. Utilize like free resources for studying or for getting a grasp of what it is you're looking to do. YouTube is a big proponent of that. And then be studious and learn the fundamentals. Don't try to like learn advanced stuff if you don't really know like the basics. So I think
yeah,
that's really dope that you said that, bro. So again, thank you, bro, for being on the episode. Last thing I was gonna say is, if you can just tell people about yourself, in regards to like if they want to get in contact with you, how they can get in contact. Put your social media handles and stuff out there, and then include that on the episode, man. Thank you again,
I
bro.
bet. So thank you once again for having me on. It was a great conversation. I really had so much fun, talking with you, rubbing minds and all of that. Yeah, so if you want to reach out to me, my LinkedIn is Moses Jacob. Search for me, you're gonna see my face. It's gonna be there. So, just connect with me, send me a DM. We can talk. We got job opportunities. I'm available. Also, I'm working towards being a mentor right now. So I'm trying to like create time and space for that. So you can just come into my DM. Let's talk about that. See how we can do it. And then on my TikTok, I post content relating to tech and lifestyle, and that's going to be KV King Morez. So it's KVNGMOREZ. I think the link is going to be in the description. So
Yep.
yeah, my Instagram also same name, and yeah. So that's it for me. That's it for me.
Thank you, bro, for everything again. This was a fantastic episode, man. So rest up, man.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, man.
All right. Well, this was another fantastic episode again. My name is Sar Levy. This is Africans in Tech, where we're building bridges and shaping futures in tech. Later, fam.